What's going on, guys? My name is Gloom. Today I'm going to do a quick little track review of the new song by Senses Fail. The song is called Lush Rimbaugh. Clearly a play on the name Rush Limbaugh. If you don't know who that is, I'll get into it in a minute. But anyways, this song dropped yesterday, and I've never done a track review before. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about this because this track has been getting some buzz online, some controversy, some praise, kind of a mixed bag from people, mainly because of the subject matter of the song. And I thought it would be nice to give my 2 cents on it and basically just what I think overall of the track, especially because Senses Fail is a band that I really enjoy. I listen to them a lot. So I think this song is a pretty interesting topic for discussion. So first off, before I get into my thoughts on it, if you don't know who Senses Fail are, they are a kind of a post-hardcore slash emo band, kind of pop punk also. They're from Ridgewood, New Jersey, and they formed in 2001. I'm not sure how you wouldn't have known of this band already if you're not into this kind of music, because they were a very popular, very well-known band, especially during like the early 2000s emo and post-hardcore scene. They had some hit songs like Can't Be Saved and Calling All Cars, I think, are their two most famous songs. So you might have heard those two. And yeah, they've been around for a while. They've released 7 studio albums and 2 EPs as of 2021. And they are currently signed to the label Pure Noise Records. Pure Noise has a lot of good bands. They've only been signed to him since, I believe, like 2015. But anyways, before I get into the review myself, I also want to give a quick little history on my personal history with the band. My story with how I know Senses Fail and what I think of them is actually pretty funny, because so the first time I ever heard Senses Fail was all the way back when I was a kid, about 6, 7, 8 years old. They had a cover of the song Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies that was in the game Tony Hawk's American Wasteland back on the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox when I was a kid. And that was one of my favorite games to play growing up, especially because the soundtrack on that game was absolutely insane. There was a lot of bands that covered punk songs and rock songs, that kind of stuff that was on that game. And Senses Fail covered Institutionalized. And I already knew Institutionalized before Senses Fail covered it because it was on Guitar Hero 2, another game I played a lot as a kid. But I honestly, as growing up, I didn't really know these were two different bands covering the same song. I always thought the Senses Fail version was the same song. But the funny thing is that I didn't even really know this song was a Senses Fail song, the Institutionalized cover, when I was a kid. And another funny thing is their song Can't Be Saved was also a bonus track on Guitar Hero 3, another game I played a lot when I was a kid. And I didn't even realize that song was on there. Like, I didn't even realize that song was in Guitar Hero 3 until years after I'd already found Senses Fail and years after I played Guitar Hero 3. But my actual, like, real introduction to them was around 2016. I had a phase where I got really into post-hardcore and emo music, and a couple of my friends kind of pointed me in the right direction to check out Senses Fail. And when I found them and kind of gave their music a chance, I got really obsessed with them. I had a phase that lasted about a year or two where I was absolutely in love with Senses Fail. I quickly bought every album and EP they have. I have all of them right now. But yeah, I really love Senses Fail. I've loved them since I found them. I've listened to all their albums. I know a lot of their lyrics. I follow them. They're a really good band in my opinion. Probably in my top 5 favorite bands. Yeah, all around they're just a great band. But anyways, getting on to the actual song itself, Lush Rimbaugh. Now, the title of the song is obviously a play on the name Rush Limbaugh. If you don't know that name, then Rush Limbaugh was a pretty famous and pretty controversial conservative like slash Republican talk show host. He's one of the most famous in that kind of conservative Republican Party type of realm, and he is known for having some pretty controversial and brash takes on things like the LGBTQ community. On racism, slavery, that kind of stuff. And actually, Rush Limbaugh just died yesterday, as recording this video on the 17th of February. He died of, I believe, complications from lung cancer, and it's been all over the internet that he died. And then Census Fail ended up dropping this song with their name in the title, so it kind of, that I think caught people's attention right away. And this song's been getting a lot of controversy from some people, especially on people that are more right-wing politically, about the fact that they kind of made a song with this title right after he died, and especially with some of the lyrics, which I'll get into in a minute. They don't really necessarily paint Rush Limbaugh in a great light, and some people take issue with that. But as for the name of the song, this was confirmed by Buddy, their vocalist, Buddy Nielsen. Actually on Twitter, let me pull it up really quick so I can read it to you. So somebody on Twitter actually tweeted at Census Fail and asked, did you write this today, or were you just prepared? And Census Fail, Buddy's the one who runs the account, by the way, responded saying wrote it about a year ago. And I don't remember where I read this, but a bit more backstory on that was so I don't, if you know Buddy Nielsen, their vocalist, he's very politically vocal and outspoken about political issues. He's been a very strong supporter of the LGBTQ community, gay rights, trans rights, that kind of stuff, and especially on like social media like Twitter, he's known for being very supportive and open about that kind of stuff. And getting onto the song lyrics, that's why, in my opinion, it's not really surprising that this kind of song was released by Census Fail, considering if you know the history and controversy behind Rush Limbaugh, he was very controversial, had some pretty unpopular opinions, pretty anti-gay, anti-LGBT beliefs, that kind of stuff. And Buddy being the complete opposite side of the spectrum, it would completely make sense why he would not like Rush Limbaugh and why he would make a song about it. As for the lyrics in a way are kind of like a pretty harsh like send off to Rush Limbaugh and the fact that he died. I forgot to even mention the story I was going to say, but apparently this song was actually written. So how Buddy said this song was written a year ago. I believe it was in YouTube comments on the video, that this song was written a year ago when the band found out that Rush Limbaugh was dying of cancer, and this song was written as kind of like a one last middle finger like send off to Rush Limbaugh, because like I had just discussed, Buddy's pretty anti everything that Rush Limbaugh stands for, and they decided to make a song about it. So the controversy around the song is basically, like I mentioned briefly, making a song about somebody that just died, basically mocking their death, being proud of their death, celebrating it, that kind of stuff. Let me get to one of the comments on Twitter that kind of attacks this subject. So someone commented on one of Census Fail's tweets after this song went live, and the person says, "Dig the song. Wish you'd change the name back. Just because you don't like or agree with someone, he was a human being. Practice what you preach." And Census Fail responded, which is Buddy again, saying, "He was a racist bigot and a bad person. It was always called Lush Rimbaugh. I will not be sorry for being happy that a bad person can no longer step on the necks of other people." So Buddy clearly stands by this sentiment and this message of the song, despite Rush Limbaugh dying. And getting on to the actual lyrics themselves, the opening verse, I'll read a little bit of it so you can get a better idea of the lyrics. He says in the song Buddy, this is the first verse, why is it so hard to try to be open to eyes that are not yours, in shoes you've never walked in? When I heard you were dying, I have to admit that I felt a bit of sympathy, but then you open your mouth and confirm to me that you're a piece of shit, and I'm glad you're suffering, you fuck. So, I mean, pretty obvious how Buddy feels about Rush Limbaugh. And then in the chorus, he goes on to say, I'm not sorry, I'm not fucking sorry, I'm not sorry anymore. There's a special place in hell for you. I'm sure they've got your number at the door. So, again, it's pretty brash, pretty, I'd say, well, I don't know what word I use. I guess controversial, pretty upfront and blunt about how Buddy feels about Rush Limbaugh. And getting to the point about Buddy basically celebrating or shit-talking somebody who just died. The way that it seems Buddy is going about this and like the stance he's taken is, even though Rush Limbaugh unfortunately died, I think regardless of the kind of person Rush Limbaugh is, no one wants to die from cancer. That's always a shitty thing. And even Buddy agrees with that. I mean, he says in the song, when I heard you were dying, I have to admit that I felt a bit of sympathy. So, like, even Buddy himself felt bad at first, which is completely human. Regardless if someone's your enemy, regardless if you despise somebody, I'm sure any decent human being would not want to go through having cancer and, that kind of stuff. But as Buddy said on Twitter, he says his legacy as a human can't be separate from his actions. So, and then says he literally had a segment where he would laugh about people dying of AIDS. Basically saying, despite the fact that Rush Limbaugh has died, and he died of cancer and that kind of stuff, the really controversial and very I'm trying to think of a good word because I keep using controversial, but very jarring and not so popular beliefs and popular opinions that Rush Limbaugh had, and the things he said, some of the things he said, they can't, just because he died, it doesn't undo the things he said. The people that he downplayed, made fun of, insulted, disrespected, and that's basically how Buddy feels about it, is that just because he's dead, you're still held accountable for your actions, and that he's not going to be sorry for saying how he feels about Rush Limbaugh despite the fact that he died, because of the negative type of legacy that Rush Limbaugh is going to leave in his place. As for my own personal opinions on that, so as far as politically, I don't want to get too political because no one wants to talk about politics, but I feel like it's kind of unavoidable with this type of song. I identify as very left-wing, very leftist, basically in the same shoes as Buddy Nielsen, the vocals of Senses Fail. So I completely understand where he's coming from. I get that Rush Limbaugh says some pretty shitty, just outright, just terrible things, especially like mocking LGBT people for dying, mocking celebrities' deaths and this kind of stuff. He said some pretty, in my opinion, pretty shitty things. And the way I look at it is, I'm not sure if I would have personally made a song like shit-talking someone who just died, especially this recent, of cancer. Obviously the song was written a year ago, so it wasn't like they just got in the studio and recorded this because he died. I don't know if I would personally do it because I'm kind of a softie when it comes to this kind of thing. Despite my personal views that Rush Limbaugh is kind of a piece of shit, he was a terrible human being, I think leave the dead dead, if that makes sense. Um, and that's how I view it. I'm not saying my way is right or wrong. It's just I wouldn't do it, but I completely understand it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that Buddy would take this kind of approach with somebody who died. Because, I mean, like I said, I agree with Buddy's views on Rush Limbaugh. I don't like Rush Limbaugh. I never liked Rush Limbaugh. Politically, I think he's kind of the lowest of the low. He's as bad as you can get as far as really shitty and bigoted conservative views. But again, I don't know if I would make a song like this about someone who just died. Um, I don't think it's offensive. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think that it was, I don't think Buddy should be getting any sort of like, I don't think he should go to jail for it, be chastised the way he's been getting by right wingers on Twitter and social media, stuff like that. Because there's people who are very, very offended by this song. I mean, as we're recording this, the song has about like 950 likes on YouTube and 330-ish dislikes, about 9,000 views. So it's pretty obviously kind of mixed bag as far as the way people are reacting to it. Excuse me. I think that I don't really understand the people who are criticizing Buddy for this, especially on the right, because right wingers really like throwing the word snowflake around and calling people on the left that calling them softies, calling them snowflakes. They're always butthurt and offended. And then when leftists do things like this, for example, they are quick to become the snowflakes. I hate that word, but you know what I mean. They become the ones who are butthurt and offended and can't take someone else's opinion. I think it's kind of hypocritical on their part. Another thing too to bring up, that it was like someone commented this on the video, which makes a good point. Senses Fail are like, if you want to boil it down to it, they're a punk band, and punk has always been very anti-establishment, anti-authority, rebellious, that kind of fuck you attitude. So this type of song with this type of message is kind of part of the course for this type of music. I don't know why people are surprised about it. And again, going back to Buddy's history of being outspoken about political issues, I mean, how can someone really be surprised? If you know Senses Fail, you should already know this kind of song is not too far off Buddy's capabilities. But yeah, that's the way I look at it, is that I don't see a problem with this song at all. I don't think he should be chastised for it. I think the people calling him out for it are kind of hypocritical. And although I am agreeing with the statement that someone dying doesn't excuse their actions, you can't separate a human from what they said. He's done some, Rush Limbaugh said and done some terrible things. And, greatest sympathies to his family and everyone who's affected by his death. No one wants to die from cancer. It's a terrible thing. And I get that. I get where people are coming from in that aspect. And although I wouldn't personally, I don't think I would have done something like this. I support it 100%. I'm I agree with Buddy's politics. I'm in the same kind of boat as him politically. I support this kind of message, and I don't really think there's anything wrong with what he did. So overall, this song is pretty controversial to people. The way I've looked at the response to it, a lot of Senses Fail fans, especially ones that are left leaning politically, which is most of their fan base, loves this song. Even before the song came out and Rush Limbaugh was confirmed to have died, I was seeing a bunch of people on social media making memes about it, kind of celebrating it, talking about the fact that Rush Limbaugh was a shitty person, and this song is just kind of that in musical form. And overall, if we're going to talk about the sound, because I haven't mentioned that at all yet, which is kind of stupid considering it's a song, I like it. It's really good. I love Senses Fail, like I said before, so I came away satisfied with the song. Regardless of how controversial the song's lyrics are, I like it when a song has a message that makes people talk, makes people discuss it. And Senses Fail are known to have that post-hardcore emo kind of pop punk sound to them, which is one of the reasons I love Senses Fail. They're always very melodic and catchy and have high energy kind of choruses. Buddy's screaming ability and the passion and the anger he puts into it when he's screaming, especially when he's talking about something he's passionate about, like this song, really comes through. Like, you can really tell Buddy is really passionate and stands firm about what he's saying in this song. So overall, the song's really good. I like it a lot. I've listened to it a few times since it came out, and I'll keep doing so because I really like the song. I love Senses Fail. In my view, fuck Rush Limbaugh. I don't like him. I never liked him. Him dying's not going to change that. And with his track record of what he was known for before he died, you got to expect this kind of thing coming. And I don't really see a problem with it at all. But anyways, that's my views on this song. I just wanted to kind of talk about it. I know I talked more about the political stuff more, but I feel like that was the most interesting part of the song as far as like the response to it and the lyrical content and what the song's about. Because sound-wise, it's not too far off what Senses Fail are known for. Not saying that's bad, because I think the song's really catchy. I like it. But I feel like I wanted to kind of throw my 2 cents in about the political message it's been getting. The response has been getting. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on Lush Rimbaugh by Senses Fail. I forgot to mention, I believe they're working on a new album and that it's coming out soon. Obviously, with the pandemic and everything, it's probably been pushed back. And Buddy did mention on Twitter this song was already planned for the album, so I'm excited for that. Their last album, If There's Light It Will Find You, is really good. I think every time Senses Fail puts out music, they're always on point. So I'll look forward to that. I'm going to put the song link in the description if you want to take a listen to it for yourself. Tell me what you think. But yeah, pretty interesting song here we got from Senses Fail. Pretty controversial song, but a good song nonetheless in my opinion. Anyways, thank you guys for watching and listening to me ramble about music. It's one of the things I'm most passionate about, so I can talk for hours about it. But that's about it, guys. See ya. Have a good day.